to be making another new video on the Glamour retouch panel, and this time we're going to be touching up more on RETOUCH or Glamour images. And let me just give you a little history about this type of retouching and more about the panel. What I'm going to be using is something called doll skin, and for me I like to call it the Glamour skin. It's really, at least in my workflow, I find it really great for glamour and erotic or boudoir, those type of photo shoot. And the reason for that is this is very powerful. It's something like frequency separation, but it's more powerful. It really let me just show you the original image. So this is the original image, and as you can see here, you can see her I forget what these are called, scratch marks and stuff like that. And with this I'm able to really push this. Now for beauty retouching, a beauty retoucher might look at this and say, what the heck, you really got rid of a lot of her skin textures, over processed or whatever. But you need to understand the process of what it is you're retouching, because there's going to be a few other images we're going to be retouching this model. She's been featured in Playboy. Also we're going to apply it a little bit on some beauty images. All of the images I'm showing you have not been retouched at all, except for this one. I've just run the script. So let's go into boudoir images and more in depth. You need to understand this type of photography is very soft when you're creating this type of images. In most cases they can be you want very soft, pleasing images, a woman just getting ready in the morning or getting ready for evening, for dinner with a spouse or whatever. And let me show you an example of one of the best boudoir photographers in the world. His name is called Alex Manfrotto, and take a look at his images, but importantly pay attention to the detail or lack of details, as you can see. And this is some of his images, and let's see if we can get a little bit closer. So as you can see, there's a lot of details that's lost. There's strong contrast, there's strong highlights. So of course there's more work you need to do after you finish running the script if you want to, but just in generally speaking, this is the way how you usually edit these type of photos. You have more flexibility. You don't have to worry about details. You want to probably worry a little bit more about details in the clothing and stuff like that, and the hair, the eyes and stuff like that. But other than that, generally speaking, these are really soft. We as photographers, usually we would use soft boxes, like soft lighting, to photograph this kind of stuff. You don't always have to use, but generally speaking, for this type of photos we use soft light. So let's get into the retouching part of it. We will jump on to another skin, and Glamour panel is basically a Photoshop extension for photographers and retouchers like myself who want to take your retouching to a whole nother level. And if you're amateur and if you struggle like me back in the day, there's a lot that Photoshop can do, but knowing how to do it, let's face it, it's not easy. So this panel really breaks down a lot of stuff that we as retouchers can do in retouching. But I assure you, there's many retouchers out there, really great retouchers, that do amazing work, that this panel does stuff and they can explain to you what that panel did to create that kind of stuff, including myself. There's some stuff that this panel does, I have no clue how it done it. I have some idea how it done it, because I'm not the architect or the engineers behind this. I review it, I also give them tips and points and pros and cons and feedback and so on to make the panel better for you as the customer. So let's get into it. It's quite simple, because a lot of the panel has to do is just masking in. And with that masking, you can use blend modes as you wish, or sometimes you need to deal with color, because this panel actually can create makeup, believe it or not. It can create fingernail polish, you can create lipstick, you can create all type of stuff. My computer, for whatever reason, is running much more slow. I've been making a lot of videos lately, and my computer is about 9 years old, believe it or not. So this panel is much quicker than this when I run it on my laptop, which is more up to date. But if you have a more recent computer, most likely this script will load up in just a few seconds. So bear in mind it's my computer, plus I am editing another 2K video in the background, plus recording this and this all this kind of stuff. So I think all my RAM is basically being used up. I don't have much RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM, so I think it's using up all the RAM, so the computer is not running as fast as it should. But anyhow, let's get into it. So all you do is run the script, and basically in this case, in a lot of cases, it will tell you what color brush, or you would see the mask is black, so you want to paint the opposite of black, which is white. And I'm using a Wacom tablet. Let's zoom in closely so you can see what's happening here. Let's focus, let's start here. And as you can see, it's doing a pretty good job of getting rid of a lot of this imperfection. I also find you can use this if you're feeling lazy or you just don't have the time, you want to speed up your workflow and you don't want to go through all that editing, or maybe you don't know how to with removing imperfections. Because first I would recommend cleaning up the skin for whatever level like imperfections, like these green veins in a hand. I would clean them up, and right here I would clean up. So I would recommend cleaning up the skin first, then applying this. But if you don't want to, as you can see, it is pretty powerful, and by default it's set by 75%, so you still have some more you can push. And as I said, I am using a Wacom tablet, so a pressure sensitivity tablet. So in certain areas I'm pushing hard, in other areas I'm not. But if you're not and you're using the mouse, you can still use it, and then once you're done, you just go and play with the opacity to get it however you want. But at default, I think the 75% is pretty good, and generally speaking, I tend to keep it at 75%. And if there's certain areas like her face would need even more, sometime I would just like, let's see, like here. Okay, so far it's doing a pretty good job actually on the face, because sometime I would have to make a second one just to get the face, and maybe I do have to. So once I'm at a level that I feel comfortable with, I zoom out and I turn it off, and just, let's see, turn it off just to get before and after. And once I'm happy with that, I generally just see if I need to apply more, and if I do need to apply more, I will just merge this layer down, merge group, and just merge that down, and then I would just run the script again if I need to, and just paint in areas that I feel a little bit more like up here and so on. But for demo purpose, let's move on to the next image, which is a beauty image. Again, especially in beauty images, I would highly recommend you clean up the skin as much as possible before trying this, before using this script, because when it comes to beauty images, now you want to be very you can use this, but now you want to use it with a more lighter hand. So I wouldn't recommend depending on this to remove all your imperfections. When it comes to beauty images, I would recommend this just to, maybe if you want to soften an image a little bit and soften the pores a little bit and so on. But generally speaking, for beauty images, because they are such micro images where people are very close up, this is where you want to use a light hand. So I think I'm going to be buying a new computer soon, because this one has been around for some time and it's starting to show its age the last 2 weeks actually. So it is done, and let's just, I am going over this very lightly, but if I want to, I can apply just to show you how strong it is actually. So as you can see, a lot of the imperfection is going away. I also have some photography tips and tricks. These images are shot from other photographers, and I will link the names of the photographers and their website down below in the description. But I also gonna have some photography tips and also some live photo shoots on my Instagram and also some photo videos and so on. And one of the tips I have, I'm actually going to be ordering some new parabolic modifiers, and one of the parabolics that going to be sent to me actually to be used for review is to deal with hotspots like this. As I've noticed this type of stuff come up quite often in images, this hotspot. And there's a second brand called Yeneba that's going to be sending me a parabolic uh, um, modifier, and I am going to also, yeah, so I'm going to be using that, and they claims to have a special diffuser to deal with such lights. So that's going to come up in a future video where I'm going to explore that, because that's something I've been noticing in just about everyone photography for a long time, and it's good to see a brand has noticed this and want to try to fix this problem, because I mean it's not an issue, but it's just something I see come up on a lot of images. And I mean some of the best photographers in the world, it's just something we just learn to live with. So I'm happy to see a light brand, I mean a light modifier uh, willing to take on the challenge to try help correct this problem. So we shall see. So as you can see, it worked pretty good. um, I've never tried it for beauty images, and it's not bad. I would definitely add some more green on top of this to add a little bit more skin texture, and depending on who you're dealing with, because there are going to be retouchers out there who say, oh, this is over retouch, but I can promise you by the end of the day, understand this: the client is paying you, not me, not the other retouchers who are criticizing your work. Your job is to please the client, and I've had clients that said to me, Nello, the image is not smooth and silky enough. By the time I was finished with the image looked like it was captured by a smartphone, a beauty image, and they said, oh, perfect. I never use those type of images on my website and show around, but by the end of the day, the client is always right. So don't pay no attention to me if I say, at least for me, I feel this is over retouch. But if a client want me to do this, or a client want you to go as far as this or even further, the client is always right. So my final image we're going to go to, and as you can see, this doll skin, it really works for all type of images and so on. And some of the images were captured on full frame. So unfortunately, at this point of the video coming to the end, my computer had stopped, had freeze actually, because I was running so much stuff in the background. I was actually converting or processing a 2K video. Then I was uploading a ton of other videos to the cloud and so on, plus having this video run in the background. And my computer is not really rammed special. It has only 8 gigabytes of RAM, and definitely 16 gigabytes of RAM would definitely help folks. So I'm definitely short on RAM. But anyhow, the video has come to an end, and I will just add another video that I have done previously to finish off this this part of the retouching. And thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and so on, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more videos. At the recording of this video, the Glamour retouch panel should be launching today, which is so it should be available today, which is March the 28th. If not, probably tomorrow. But hopefully it'll be available for everyone to y'all to check out, and I'm going to be continuing to making more videos and so on about this panel. Quite an amazing panel. So thank you again for watching, and see you again in the next video.